Welcome back to the pod. Today we have a Fresno State softball episode. We have head coach Charlotte Morgan and assistant coach Kelcey Carrasco. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Sophia's going to start us off with some icebreakers.
Just to get to know you guys a little bit better, kind of warm it up. So, if you weren't coaching or playing softball, what sport or job would you be doing instead? Or would you have gone to instead?
Sport, I've always said basketball. I really loved basketball. I played it in high school, and I don't know, something about being a little more aggressive down there, down low, and being inside. And I don't know, I thought the gym was really cool, so I think I'd be in the basketball area somewhere. So.
Okay.
I think for me, I would have definitely played basketball. I also played. I was really competitive in it. Had a scholarship as well, but I was able to foul and be aggressive. So that was pretty awesome. But if I wasn't coaching, I would love to be an undercover K-9 officer in the FBI for gang and drug violence. So I love training K-9s and stuff. So definitely thought I was going to go the FBI route. And
That's cool.
That is really cool. All right, walk-up song for this season. What are you picking and why?
Well, I had one walk-up song. It was California Love by Tupac.
Okay.
And I tried changing it one year at Alabama, and I was 0 for 2. And my third at-bat, I walked up, and the song California Love came on, got a hit. A fan went up and said, put her old song back. So California Love Tupac, that's it.
Okay.
I don't have
You don't have one? Okay, if younger you could see you now, what would she be most shocked by?
I think my drive. I think at a young age, I was very gifted, and I honestly didn't have to work too hard in school and softball and sport. I had a good body type and everything like that, and I was very gifted. So I think my drive as an adult, transitioning out of softball has been really cool because it does get a little tougher, to find that motivation and stuff. And so, I think that would be it.
For me, that I actually smile and look like I'm having fun coaching in the game that I love. I had anger issues, so I'm a type A and alpha, and something about hitting and the game would bring a lot of anger out that now as a coach and older, I am very more calm, mellow. Nothing really gets me angry. And I think that my old self would actually be like, who are you? Yeah. But I think just the difference of I formed into a player's coach. And if you would have said when I was younger or as a player that I would be who I am now, I would say you're crazy. I think I'm totally different the way that I played than I am as a coach. And I think that is something that I know I'm surprised by myself. And I wish I could have told my younger self just to smile a little bit and enjoy it a little more. I was so driven. I was so locked in. I had my blinders. And sometimes I wish I would have maybe, hey, you can laugh, you can smile, you can let up and still be focused. And I didn't think that I could balance that. It was no one way. So I think that's probably the biggest for me is just the difference of you can still be serious and get your work done, but also have fun doing it. And that's not a weakness. It's actually a strength. And I think it's neat that I've been able to develop into that.
I love that.
Taking it all the way back, what are your first memories of playing softball?
Well, my first memory, I'm going to be very honest, I went out to practice. I've always been tall, so a lot taller than a lot of people, always been really strong. I hit a line drive, hit the second baseman right in the forehead.
Oh, no.
And the parents told my dad and the coaches that they were scared because I hit the ball too hard in our age group in 6U or whatever, so they actually ended up moving me all the way up to 12U for rec ball my first year ever playing. And so I will never forget it because I just remember I hit and I felt bad, but just hit a line drive. And that's one of my first memories. And then I'm, 6, 7 playing with 12-year-olds. It was pretty crazy.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's hard to go off of that.
Should have let you go on.
I know. I'd say some of my first memory. Well, I remember starting in t-ball with all my cousins in our local t-ball, and I think that's where I fell in love with it. I think my dad and his cousin were coaching us at the time, so that was really cool. And I didn't know if I wanted to keep playing because, like, I thought I could continue to play with my cousins on the field or what it was, but yeah, I was also doing dance at the time, and I remember I'd joined rec, now softball, and I was out there, I was enjoying it. I remember they put me in right field, and they're like, dude, she is literally the typical kid picking daisies out there, like, she's not focused, and that's whenever they moved me to catcher, and at that time I was like on one knee catching, and it was a whole thing, but I loved it. I loved putting on the gear. It was hot in the valley back then, and I still loved it, and yeah, and then after that I remember trying out for the all-star team and getting cut, and it was like one of these moments where like your parents sit you down and they're like, oh, this is a big block in the road. Like, do you still want to play softball, or do you want to, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, you know what? Like, I want to try one more year and, like, see if I make it, you know, and tried one more year and then ended up making the all-star team. And, you know, Francine Wright, she used to play softball around here too, and she was our coach, and I started playing travel ball and b-ball after that, and kind of the rest was history. But those are my memories of starting and being cut from my all-star team. And, yeah, coming back and making it the next year and started squatting. You know, they were like...
squatting.
Yep, they're like, all right, if you're making all-stars, you got to get off your knee. No more knee. And my parents were like, are you up for that? Can you handle that? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And so, yep, from then on, yeah.
So you've been in a Bulldog uniform. You played here. And then now you're back in the dugout as a coach. What was the full circle moment like for you?
Oh my gosh, I think I've gotten that question so many times from, you know, my teammates, the alumni. I am just truly blessed. Like, there's so many people that were watching over me to have this kind of a line, and I think it's not every day that you get to come back and coach at your alumni. And you know, I tell Coach Charlotte like all the time, like I can't thank her enough for the opportunity. But it's been unreal. I think from the fans, from that I played in front of that are now part of the Bulldog Club, or just still fans in the stadium, to now the alumni and being able to connect with them some more and, you know, get them more involved. That's been neat. And then to like know what the athletes are also going through every day. Like, I walked in their shoes. I went to class in the same classrooms. I showed up to the same field. I did the same walk from the locker room down to the field. When I was 0 for 4, I did the same walk from the field back to the locker room, you know, taking my time to take my uniform off, and, you know, then getting to meet your parents, you know, after the game in the parking lots, and, you know, where are we going to eat? And, you know, I think all of those things has made my perspective as a coach now coming back, like, just really, really neat. It's been unreal. It's been I'm just so blessed. I mean, I think God's blessed me beyond to be able to have the opportunity to be here. And, like, my heart is always so full. Like, I show up to the field and it's just full. It's always full. And it could be a bad day. It could be a cold day like today when we were out there freezing. It could be a hot day at 110 and we're doing a 5-hour camp, or we've got a 3-hour practice. And I smile because it's beautiful, and this place is obviously special. And I got to feel that feeling whenever I was a player. And I think it's extra special because now I get to connect with the people that also help us make it happen at the field, and get to pour into those relationships and those people. So it's just made, like you said, of just a full circle moment of you're not getting just one piece of the puzzle now. You get to see it in all the different lights and all the different avenues, which makes it so special.
Coach, why did you want to add Kelsey to your staff? What stood out about her?
I think, you know, this place is special. It's a big reason that I took this job was about the tradition, the family, the university, just everything that the Valley had to offer, but also was taking this job was getting back to the championship mentality, right? And getting this program. When I grew up, I watched Fresno State, and knowing that she was a part of our last championship team. And I think that it's really important to keep the history within. And when you have a chance to hire someone that has gone to this university, has been a player through the program, understands the sacrifices, understands everything about being a Bulldog, I think that's special. And that's only going to benefit our program. But one is I'm learning from her also about the ins and outs of how it was when she was here. And we're not trying to be who they were. We're trying to be a new version. But I think it's just when you have that opportunity as a coach to hire an alumni that has gone through it, but also understands winning. And that was important to bring. And it wasn't easy. Her route wasn't easy as well while she was here. And so I think it's important. And like I said, the tradition and everything that has been here, I'm not afraid to make sure that that's within, because we're not trying to reinvent this program. It's just a new version of what Fresno State softball has been. And our goal is to get it back to that elite level every year. The way that when I grew up watching Fresno State, that's what Fresno State softball was about. So having someone like her and being able to do that, it's just a huge bonus. She makes me better. She makes our program better. And I think if any coach could ever hire within, they should, because it does bring a different perspective in your coaching staff. And I think it's so important.
What have you learned so far from being on staff with Coach Morgan?
Oh, she's great. we have a really
She's
good,
saying that because I'm right here. I'm just kidding.
I'm in charge of equipment. So I learned shortly that there is only specific things that Coach Morgan likes to wear. And, we're going to need 2 different sizes of shoes in every shoe because we just don't know. That just goes along with just like, we just have a good time. And I think her leadership is huge. I've talked to her a lot when we were first talking about, me getting hired and what my role is going to look like. And, I was just like, throw me wherever you want me, and, she's helped lead me and guide me through it, and I'm still learning. I'm young in my Division I coaching, and I want to learn, but I never really had someone that was willing to kind of help pave the way for me or help lead me to the water, per se. And so I think for me, it's just like taking all of her experience, not only as a coach, but also as a player, and where she's been and her mentors and where she's been around and who she's been around has been the coolest part for me, because I'm just like, give me more, keep talking to me, and again, we talk a lot as a coaching staff, and I think that's been the coolest part. And again, I've only been around, we've only played a few games and been around her a few months, but I think she's got all the right tools to be here and be successful, and that's why I was so excited to be on staff this year, because it's going to be really special, her era and what we can do under her. And just from the alumni all the way to the girls and her relationships that she builds with the kids, that was huge for me. I was always one of the kids that was huge on relationships with my teammates and the team first. And she pours into us every day, and it's special to see her also pour into the kids. And she's not afraid to show that to anybody. She's invited alumni out. She was like, bring Dulcini out here. And so we brought Haley out, and she got to come to a practice. We've invited, all of them, come by, come see the program that you also were a part of. And I think that's special. You can't find coaches these days that aren't afraid of tradition and not afraid of, inviting people in to see what you're doing in your practices and your planning and the program. And I think that has always spoke volume. But I mean, obviously her heart and who she is and how she wants to lead the girls and us on staff.
The girls are lucky to have you.
Yeah, they are.
Coach, it had to be a good fit for you, but it had to also be a good fit for your daughter, Boston. So beautiful, so fun. I can't wait for the fans to meet her at games. But what made this the right fit for not only you, but for her too?
Yeah, I think, I think change is always scary, and especially when you weren't looking for change. And I think, being a mom and also raising Boston and being a single mom, it was really important to make sure that I create that support still. I've been very blessed and lucky to have athletic directors and administrators that supported me 100% as not only a female head coach, but a female head coach that is a single mom. And that's very rare to have administrations support that and welcome that. There's a lot of amazing female coaches that have stopped coaching when they become moms, because you do you put the program or your kid, right? And my daughter is always number one, and I think that that's something. But if she's also a coach's kid, so she understands the life, and so I think for me, going through the process and having the interview and talking with Garrett and knowing that he has 2 little kids, and he's like, you can bring Boston to the head coaches meetings, and I'm like, dude, I'm right. I'm remember the day you tell me. I don't forget anything. I might not say a lot, but I don't forget. But no, I think all jokes aside, I mean that spoke volumes to me, and really looking at the school systems are good up here. I think the cost of living, being able to create a life that I really wanted for Boston, and that's important. I think retirement, those things that you start looking at when you get older. I had a health scare about 1.5 years ago and almost lost my life during season, and those things wake you up. And I think I realize, okay, what if I got to make sure I'm setting up her for success. And so going through that and just seeing how welcoming everyone was to her, and that allowing me to do what I love, which I love coaching, but I love mentoring. I love being able to make a difference in my athletes' lives. I was a tough personality. I didn't get given up, like Murph didn't give up on me. A lot of coaches didn't give up on me just because of that. And so I don't ever want to lose sight of why I do what I do. Am I one of the most competitive person? Yes. Do I want to win? Yes. Am I very picky and have high standards? Yes, I do. But it's never at the expense of who I am and the morals and what I stand for. And so being able to do that, but also be able to be a mom. And that was just really important. And I grew up watching Fresno State, and I said on my presser, like, my first T-shirt was a 2XL cotton T-shirt with a Bulldog from my athletic director. Yeah, my freshman year in high school. It's like, I'm going to Fresno State. Like, and then, kind of in that time when I was getting recruited to Fresno State, it kind of started going down a little bit. But this was somewhere I wanted to go. And so it's kind of a full circle moment for me, and knowing that the tradition, the area, this reminds me a lot of home. I'm from, the Inland Empire down south, but kind of the desert, very similar. But again, I think it's just the right fit to be a mom, to create a life for her that I really want to do, but also continue to do what I love. And like I said, I want to be somewhere I'm going to be. I want to retire here, and to show that I'm the 6th head coach, that's important. That shows that if we do our job and we're doing it well and we do it right, this is our home and this is our era, and let's make it. And so there was just so much that went into it, and I am getting the older, so I think that was really, really important. And I'm very honest with, I don't sugarcoat it to our administration, to our team, to recruits. We had a recruit here today. I'm like, my daughter is around. If you don't like kids, probably not. Don't come here. She's very honest. Like, she's not an annoying one, but I'm gonna be black and white with you, and she's the boss. Like, she owns it, and but yeah, I think it was just a lot of those things kind of went into it, and we're still only 4 hours from family, so I can still get home, and that's important as well. So I think all of that going into play was huge in the decision of uplifting her and moving her life that we've created for 5 years down in LA. And that's hard for a kid, and I think she handled it a lot better probably than I did. Like, I still get mom guilt, but I know she's a rock star, and it's just going to make her better.
I can
She's the
tell.
best.
Oh, thank you.
I can tell you care about the girls a lot, especially from being a mom. Like, that carries into anything else. And you talk about the standard, how you like being held to a high standard. So how do you balance holding the players to that higher standard, but still giving them a space where they can feel like they can fail, try again, and continue growing?
Well, I think failure, I try to tell them, like, fear, it's your first attempt at learning. And you have a choice to either let failure dictate one way or the other. You have a choice. You can learn from it and grow and forget about it, or you can let it really start forming who you are. And to me, it's a false narrative that you're believing. Just from one failure, the best fail. And so, we really try to not create a fear-based mentality. I want you to fail. That's why the standards are the standards. And I think if you run a program very clear and it's black and white, they know what we're about. They know what our morals, but they know what we walk, what we do, what this program's about. Then when you hold them to that, they understand, again, a big part is just accountability, communication, and we all make mistakes. We're human. We are human. And they are young adults. I have 18 to 24-year-olds, because nowadays, they can be a little older. But the reality is they're growing. It's our job to mentor them. And I think Coach Murphy, one of my top mentors, he really has told me, I think it's 33 or 36 now that the brain is still developing. It used to be, I think, in the late 20s. And it's our job to mentor them. He goes, they're going to lie to you. They're going to make mistakes. And it's our job to do that. So I think that gives me the balance that I can mediate the situation, hold them to the standards. We talk about it. And then we give grace, we move on. If it becomes something that becomes a problem, then we're going to, we sit down. But again, I think you have to have people that believe in the standards and believe in what we are about. Because high achievers don't like mediocre, and low achievers don't like high achievers, right? So our job as coaches is to create high achievers. We're not perfect. We're not going to be great, but we got to create that same drive from coaching staff to anyone involved in it, to our SIDs. Everyone needs to be on board. And I think it's just being clear with it. And that's our job, and it's my job to lead that and help mold them into the young adults and to be strong, female, whatever they want to do. They want to own a business, they want to play pro, they want to, whatever it is, you're going to be great at it. But you got to choose to be great. And it's not easy. It's hard.
I feel inspired right now.
I know.
Oh.
That got me on.
You two just signed your first signing class. What do you look for when you're recruiting Bulldogs?
I think a big thing we do is we kind of go a little slower. Obviously, the times are very different with NIL, with the house settlement, with the transfer portal, and it's just different. But I still try to get to know the recruit, the families, because we always say I'm not just recruiting the player, I'm recruiting their family. They're the ones in the stands. They're the ones that on a tough day that maybe a standard's not met, they're probably crying to their parents, right? But if they know where our intentions are, they know where our heart is as a program, they know who we are, then they're going to say, well, okay, so what, they're going to support us. And so really when we're looking is we want people that want to be here, that understand the tradition, understand what Fresno State softball is about, what the Valley is about, and understanding that because hopefully we want them to stay, right? And we know it's a very different time, but really wanting them to have that passion to want to be here, but passion to be a really good person at what they do. And I think that that's another thing we're really strict with school, make sure that they have school lined up, understanding people have different levels in that. But I think really just getting them to, trying to get to know them, but see that they are self-driven, not from their parents.
Yep.
And parents can pay for everything nowadays, pay for their travel ball, showcase, pay for lessons, but when they're here and it's hard, if they're not driven internally, they're going to hang it up. It's part of it. And so it's kind of our job, and it's a little hard, but on the visits and at the lunches, when we have official visits, I have them at my house. I invite them into my house. I want them to get to know me away from the field. They get to see my dogs. They get to see my daughter. They get to see a different side. And I think that we get to see a different side of them, where on the field or around the school, you're going to be a little bit more straight-faced, but really try to get to know them. So, again, I think there's a lot of different factors. The skill set's obviously there as well, but more so of making sure that we're getting the right people. And that's kind of our job. And, again, that they want to be here and they want to be a part of the history and the tradition, and just help reinvent it and kind of keep it going.
Kelsey, what was it like to be on this side of a signing day?
Weird. Very weird. No, I think the weirdest part has been like in the office, sitting with the recruits and talking through them on all of that stuff and all the parents' questions, and like just knowing I was in that chair, the same chair, in the same office, having those same type of questions, or my parents having those same type of questions. And I was actually talking to LJ yesterday. I ran into him, and we were just talking about how easy it is to sell the university because we've been here, and like how easy it is to just like pour your heart into the recruits and like show them this is a place you want to be and this is a place that you will fit in, because there's so much for you to do and be involved in. And like there's a place for you, and we have a good time doing it, So I think it's like, as far as the recruiting side, like it was very weird to be on that side of it, but it's also really exciting, like to just get in there and take some pictures with them, on their official visit day, and continue to build, off of the history that was already here. I think that's just the neatest part too, is like now I'm in, the mix of picking these athletes that, once played on the same field as I did. And, we look for those values as well. And no, it was really neat, really cool.
So this goes for both of you. What excites you most about the group that you have in the locker room right now?
I'll be honest, I think what excites me is how well they get along. Being a new coach, coming in and obviously bringing in some different players that were with me previous, but also some different transfer. We're about half and half, and you always worry about a little bit of the culture, right? Like how is the team dynamic going to be? You can have the best athletic team, you can have the most talented, but man, if they don't get along, they're not going to make it. They might for a little bit, but they're not going to finish. And the greatest part is they love to have a good time. Like, they love hanging out. They, and I think I tell people all the time, I'm like, that's honestly been the biggest surprise and the greatest, because we don't have issues. We don't have culture problems. We don't have, and again, knock on wood. But again, just super lucky and blessed that the group has meshed, and we have a big variety of different personalities in that locker room. But they're all eager to learn. They're all a lot more rules, a lot more standards than especially the ones that were here before. Definitely a different philosophy, a different culture that we brought in, but they have 100% wanted it. They want to be coached. They want to be pushed. And I think as a head coach coming in, that's your dream, is that they want more. Like, and that's, I think, what's been super exciting, is that they are all wanting it. They're all listening. They're being sponges. They're trying. We got a lot of work to do, and that is 100%. But when we got to have those talks about some of the things, they listen. And At the end of the day, that's all I can ask. And but yeah, I mean, they get along, but they want to be coached. And again, that's your dream to have, as especially bringing a whole new staff. I brought a whole new coaching staff in. So, and we're very collaborative as a coaching staff. So I think that's been the most exciting part. And I think, you have a team like that, it's going to be hard to break us.
This team has been really involved in the community, doing community service. Why is that important to you?
Well, I mean, the Valley, right? The Redway. I mean, it's Fresno State's about the community. Why would we not? I wish we could be more, to be honest. Like, wish I could be at 50 places at once. But again, I always say, you never know who you're going to meet. And the amount of people I've already met that by being out at different events or talking at different things, I mean, you just never know. And this place is special. And I think it always gives you perspective, because when you're in the mix of it, you're homesick, you're tired, you're hurt, whatever maybe our athletes are feeling, myself included, being worn down, whatever it is, when you get out there and you get to experience the children, you get to experience the fans, that this is what they live for. This is what their biggest highlight, it grounds you. And I think that you have to give back. I mean, I'm a big believer, and I believe in love and making sure that we spread and give back. And that is, to me, what we're supposed to be doing. We're servants, we're leaders. That's, to me, what Christian women do, is we're supposed to be serving. We're supposed to, why hold on to everything? That's why practices are open. That's why I want our team in the community, but also them get to drive it, and they get to really form the things that they want, like our blood drive on Saturday. Riley, one of our sophomore, that's her whole thing that she has taken under. So they get ownership of it. And again, it's perspective, it's giving back, and it's huge. And I just think we want to sell out. We got the crowd, right? They want to feel a part of something. If you feel a part of something and you get to know them, you'll go through it. They're going to have strong opinions. I know that. But they just want to be a part of something special. And I think that's what's unique about our jobs, is that you get to make an impact every year, in and out, little kids on up. And I think that's what it's all about.
I think they've honestly taken it too on their side. What Coach Morgan was saying, they've wanted to start doing community service. They want to pack the stadium, and they're like, we're willing to get out there, and we're willing to bring these fans to us. We want that atmosphere, and we want the community to be surrounded around us, and that's been special to see. The girls also not we got community service again. They're booking us another weekend. They're when can we get back to Valley Children's? Can we get into, more of the oncology stuff? Is this all we can do, with the kids? Or is there more? Is there more events? We did a, Northern California, what was it called? The Special Olympics. Yeah, the Special Olympics. And those girls were at 4 different practices, throughout the week. And we only kind of told them, go to 2, if you enjoy it, keep going, and there they were, pouring their hearts out there. And, they've taken control of that aspect too, which again has been a coach's dream to guys, we got to start doing more of this, and then we just kind of gave them the little bump. And now, like she had mentioned, Riley's really formed this blood drive for us on Saturday. I mean, she's been on me sometimes, and I'm like, Riley, don't worry, I'll go get the tickets, we'll be good, and she's like, it's just really special to see, because that is part of being a Bulldog. I truly believe that experience as a player, you don't get that same experience if you're not out in the community and impacting the community around you. And the community gives back to you. They really do.
All right, last question for me. What would you say to a young Valley kid who is listening right now, dreaming of playing for the Bulldogs?
Oh my gosh. show up every day, continue to dream big, fight like nobody else, and continue to just be you. I think that's the biggest thing. I know with recruiting now, it gets kind of lost because you're trying to compete with everybody around you, and you're wanting to go here, wanting to go there, and then you kind of lose like what you want. And I just think you got to be you got to show up, you got to work hard. And we talked a lot about blue collar mentality around here in the Valley, and it doesn't matter where you come from or what your situation is, but if you're willing to show up and you're willing to work hard and you're willing to dream a dream that you want, and you match your consistency with your work ethic, I mean, the sky's the limit. And then once you get here and you become a Bulldog, then you go chase the national championship because it's a winning culture, and that's what we expect.
I want to talk a little about Margie Wright Diamond because it is a beautiful stadium. And when I first started traveling with softball, I thought that's what everyone's stadium looked like. And so I'm used to sitting in this like huge press box, and I'll go to another school and they're like, so actually we can only put 3 people in our press box. You're gonna have to sit outside in the stands. And I was like, what is this? Because at our home stadium, I can fit 40 people in our press box. So I'm a little confused here. But Kelsey, as someone who's played in that stadium when it's packed, describe that for someone who's never been there.
You can't hear nothing. You got, fans yelling at you behind. I mean, it's unreal. And, I always talk about my journey to get to Fresno State, where I started. It wasn't much of a softball school, but I was there. I was in the big show, and they always talk about that. And we were just talking about this actually yesterday, and I was like, I wanted to win. I wanted to win, and I wanted to be at a softball school. I wanted to feel what it was like to be packed. I wanted to feel that energy, and it starts from before first pitch when our announcer starts shooting us out. But it's a truly unreal feeling, and I think part of that feeling also comes from the little ones. We get so many young kids at our games, and to me that was like they always pulled my heartstrings, because you were once in that position, like we just talked about, and you want to do everything in your power to make their experience, whether that's one game their parents can afford, whether they come to every game, you want to make that experience great for them. And when you hear them yelling at you or yelling at the other team, like you're like, okay, girl, let's go, and it's just truly special. You can't hear anything. And then obviously after the game, I mean, they want your attention. They want to see you. They want to talk to you. From the little ones all the way up to our Diamond Club members and our season ticket holders. But it's a true stadium. I mean, we are literally a Power 4 softball school at a mid-major. Mm-hmm. If you want to come and play softball here, like you are getting that experience. And I think that's why we always talk about how special it is, because of that right there.
Coach, I know you got to see it a little bit in the fall, but what are you looking forward to about your first conference or first tournament game in Margie Wright Diamond?
Yeah, I think just, the history, right? I think, and knowing, we have a lot of season ticket holders. We have a lot of the kids that come out, and, that was one of the reasons when I was getting recruited in my process, why I chose Alabama was the tradition, the community, and the fans. And I think, to me, Fresno State is the West Coast of that. And we're the 3rd largest stadium in the country, right behind Alabama, and I told them we're coming for them. So, but how we come from, we got to sell out. We got to sell out so I can push to Garrett that we need expansion. Mm-hmm. And so that's the goal. That's the goal, is to sell this place out. And what comes, though, how do you do that is we do things right. We also put a good product out there that you want to watch our team play. You want to see them fight, because why do people watch sports? For entertainment, but also for life lessons. And so they need to see our players not give up. They need to see our players, continue to be a good person. If we lose, put our head up, face the little girls, right? Like, go sign their autograph. It's just a game, even though in the moment we don't feel like it's just a game, but those are all life moments, and I was really lucky to have that. And I think with who I was, I needed that perspective. I think there's some that need to learn that perspective a little bit more. And this university, this stadium has that. And it goes to across the board. And so I'm just excited, one, to start filling the stadium, two, hopefully keep making a difference, but also making sure that we are exciting and who we show up every day is who we are. And it's not just the first game of the season because we're all excited, right? Like that first day, everyone's great. We got to continue that. So that's a big thing we talk to our team is I don't care how you are, you have to be consistent. You have to be able to sustain that. Yeah. We cannot use our fuel from the opposing team because if that is where that's our identity, it's a long roller coaster. And so I'm just excited for them to find their identity. And I want it to be a player-led team. And I think those are your best teams, your championship teams are player-led. And I'm excited to kind of see that. I think that's most exciting about preseason and being able to open up at home. We get that opportunity. And not a lot of people get to open up at home and play in such an amazing stadium. Not everyone does. Like, you're right. You're spoiled. We're spoiled here. We are 100% spoiled. But I tell our players they've earned that, and every day they're depositing into that they get to earn this, but we're also going to respect every place we go, leave it better. But we have to take care of our home and take care of home and our fans and stuff. So I'm just excited to get out there and, just showing the product of what we've been working for. And we're not going to be polished right away, and I don't want us to be. And, I'll weather the fans, and I tell our players all the time, I'll weather them. Give them to me. I got them. You just be a good person. Be a good person. Keep showing up, and I got you. And I'm excited.
Well, thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on The Pawd.